So what really makes someone a leader? I mean, is it just a title, a position of power, or is it something else entirely? For centuries, we've been trying to bottle the essence of leadership, and today we're going to decode that very journey. All right, let's dive right in. Okay, first things first, let's tackle a question that really gets to the heart of it all. Is a manager automatically a leader? The answer might not be what you think, and it all boils down to where their power comes from. And this really just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got management. It's all about your position, your official authority. You're the boss, so you give orders. Simple as that. But leadership, that's a whole different ballgame. It's not about your title. It's about your influence. It's about having those personal qualities that just inspire people. They follow you not because they have to, but because they genuinely want to. And that difference is absolutely everything. So when you strip it all down, leadership is fundamentally an art. It's the art of influencing people, right? It's about getting everyone's individual wills and efforts pointed in the same direction, all driving toward a goal you share. It really is all about people, persuasion, and purpose. Now, to really get a handle on this art, we've got to look at its core ingredients. Turns out, every single leadership dynamic, no matter where it happens, is basically a mix of four key factors that all play off each other. And here they are. You've got the leader, of course. You've got the followers they're trying to inspire. You've got the communication that connects them. And then you have the situation they're all in. Let's quickly break each one down. It all has to start right here, with you, with self-awareness. A truly effective leader needs to have an honest-to-goodness understanding of who they are, their strengths, their weaknesses, the whole deal. Because look, if you're not credible to yourself, how are you ever going to be credible to anyone else? Then you've got the followers. And this is so important. Leadership is not one size fits all. A brand new person on the team is going to need a lot more guidance than a seasoned pro, right? And someone who's super motivated responds way differently than someone who's feeling a bit checked out. Great leaders get this. They know how to tailor their approach. And communication, well, that's the bridge that connects the leader and the followers. It's not just about barking orders from on high. It's a two-way street. It's about listening, asking really good questions, and building that trust that is the absolute bedrock of any solid relationship. And finally, we have the situation, the context. Think about it. A leadership style that's perfect for a full-blown crisis would probably be a total disaster during a creative brainstorming session. The situation really dictates the best approach, which actually brings us to the fascinating evolution of how we've thought about leadership over time. So yeah, for decades, thinkers and researchers have been on this epic quest to find the one perfect, works every time leadership style. And let me tell you, this journey has taken some pretty interesting turns. The very first attempts, they were all about traits. The idea was pretty simple. Great leaders just have certain qualities they're born with. They're born, not made. This was called the trait approach, and it was basically a search for some universal checklist of what makes a leader. But that whole idea turned out to be way too simplistic. So the focus took this huge dramatic pivot. Researchers stopped asking, who are leaders? And they started asking, okay, but what do leaders actually do? And that shift gave us what's known as the behavioral approach. This new focus led to identifying these really distinct styles. So on one end of the spectrum, you've got the autocratic style. It's all about production, close supervision, decisions made at the top. And on the other end, you've got the democratic style, which is employee-centered, delegating, asking for suggestions, encouraging people to take initiative. For the longest time, the big debate was, okay, which one's better? Well, the answer, as it turns out, wasn't so black and white. It wasn't an either-or kind of thing. A much more sophisticated model came along called the managerial grid, and it suggested that the best leaders are actually balancing two critical things: their concern for getting the job done and their concern for the people who are doing it. And according to this grid, the absolute peak of leadership effectiveness, the sweet spot, is something called the 9-9 style, or team management. This is the leader who has a super high concern for their people's well-being and a super high concern for production. For a while there, this seemed like the perfect answer. But then came the biggest breakthrough of them all. It was this huge realization that the whole search for a single best style was flawed from the very beginning. The most effective approach, it turns out, is the one that adapts. Wow, this quote really just says it all, doesn't it? This is the contingency approach, and it argues that context is king. A leader's actions are shaped way more by the situation they're facing than by any fixed personality trait or go-to style. So the effectiveness of your leadership is totally, well, contingent on the circumstances. It just depends. And this is where it all comes together. This brings all those factors we talked about, the leader, the followers, the situation, into one powerful mindset. First, you analyze the situation. What's going on? Then you truly understand your followers. What do they need right now? And finally, you adapt your leadership style to perfectly fit that specific combination. It's dynamic, it's flexible, and honestly, it's the real cornerstone of modern leadership.
So, after going through this whole evolution, what does this all mean for you, for us? How do we take all these lessons and actually put them into practice?
Well, the journey we just walked through shows this really clear evolution in thinking. We started by believing leaders are born. Then we moved on to studying what they do. And finally, we realized that the truly great leaders, they're the ones who adapt. That's the key takeaway. So at the end of the day, leadership isn't some destination you arrive at. It's not a title you're just handed. It's a dynamic skill. It's a journey you take with other people, and it is absolutely a craft that you can learn, you can practice, and you can get better at every single day for the rest of your life. And that leaves us with one last, really essential question. It's not about finding that one perfect style. It's about figuring out what is needed from you right here and right now. So take a look around at your world, your team, your goals. What does your situation demand?